Okay, alright.
Right.
So, the topic is students should be required to wear uniforms in public.
Damn, you just followed up Trump and Vladimir Putin. But
Yeah, it's hard to.
I'm excited about that.
Okay, right. What if there was a school where bullying and social status prejudices could be put to rest? Well, there could be with a simple fix. If public schools required their students to wear uniforms. Before I state my evidence on why uniforms are beneficial, I would like to define the word bias. Bias is a preconceived feeling, opinion, or inclination toward an issue. I know everyone in this room doesn't wear school uniforms and may already have their minds made up about them. But I want everyone to leave that bias behind and have an open mind about this subject. First, I would like to address that uniforms do not take away freedom of expression. According to listland.com, quotes, there are numerous different ways students can add their personal touch to school uniforms, like different hairstyles, use of nail polish, addition of accessories such as buttons, socks, scarves, etc. End quote. In addition, I would like to add that you can change up your shoes, add bracelets, necklaces, earrings, a belt, makeup, get a cool backpack, etc. That's a lot of different ways to spice things up and be creative and express who you are. You don't need a shirt and pants to do that. Secondly, uniforms lessen violence in schools. According to teenviolencestatistics.com, quotes, the uniforms make it more difficult for students to show gang affiliation, which may reduce gang violence and activity at school. And, if properly designed, the uniforms will make it more difficult for students to hide weapons on their bodies when entering school. End quotes. Furthermore, this also makes intruders more visible in the school and outside of the school. If the intruder does not have a uniform on, they will easily be out of place and spotted much quicker. All in all, this makes the environment safer for the students and teachers. Thirdly, uniforms lessen bullying in schools. According to listland.com, quotes, the uniforms create a sense of equality and prevents repeated bullying at school. End quote. Uniforms play a vital role in reducing peer pressure and raise the level of acceptability. The students in uniform feel united and connected. End quotes. This acceptability and reduction of bullying is due to the more level playing field for students of different social and economic classes. I am now open for questions. Hi.
Okay, so did you know there's evidence that school uniforms may increase violent attacks and lower academic achievement, while there's little evidence that school uniforms provide any benefit?
Not what I read.
The peer-reviewed study found that school uniforms increase the average number of assaults by 14 per year in most violent schools. A Texas Southern University study found that school discipline incidents rose by 12% after the introduction of uniforms. According to the Miami-Dade County Public Schools Office of Education Evaluation and Management, fights in middle schools nearly doubled within 1 year of introducing mandatory uniforms. And also,
Do you have any more questions? I don't want to.
you don't want me to ask you any questions?
No, I'm saying, do you? I don't. You can.
What was the first point you brought up?
Was the first point? Uniforms do not take away freedom of expression.
name is Lindsay, and I will be speaking for the negative side. School uniforms overall are a bad idea. There is evidence that school uniforms may increase violent attacks and lower academic achievement, while there is little evidence that uniforms provide any benefits at all. Focusing on uniforms takes attention away from finding the genuine solutions in problems in education. I have a piece of evidence right here. Spending time and effort implementing school uniforms policies may detract from more effective efforts to reduce crime in schools and boost self-performance. Tom, former superintendent of schools in Oxford, North Carolina, stated that school uniforms are a distraction from focusing on systematic and fundamental transformation to improve our schools. Also, school uniforms emphasize the socioeconomic divisions that they are supposed to eliminate. Right, I have a piece of evidence right here that says most public schools with uniform policies are in poor neighborhoods, emphasizing the class distinctions that uniforms were supposed to eliminate. In 2014, while 47% of high poverty public schools required school uniforms, only 6% of low poverty public schools required them, according to the National Center for Education Statistics. Angela Walmsley said, quote, "We're creating a culture where parents think that a public school where children wear uniforms is an unsafe place to send their child. In other words, school uniforms in public schools are becoming associated with schools facing violence problems." David L. Brunsma quoted, "More affluent families buy more uniforms per child. The less affluent, they have one, and it's more likely to be tattered, torn, and faded. It only takes 2 months for socioeconomic differences to show up again." Uniforms also emphasize racial divisions. Schools with a minority student population of 50% or more are 4 times more likely to require uniforms than with a minority population of 20 to 49%, and 24 times more likely than schools with minority populations of 5 to 19%. So instead of making everyone feel equal, we would be pinpointing the less fortunate, making them feel less of themselves. Uniforms can have detrimental effect on students' self-image. I have a quote here from Robin Silverman, told today, or NBC's News Today, that students, especially girls, tend to compare how each other looks in their uniforms. As a body image expert, I hear this from the students all the time that they feel it allows a lot for comparison. So if you have a body that is a plus size body, a curvier body, a very tall body, a very short body, those girls often feel like they don't look at their best. Some students also find uniforms less comfortable than regular clothes, which may not be conducive to learning. This can also lead to higher suicide rates for the students because they feel badly of themselves that they don't belong anymore. Where did we get the idea that bullying and stereotypes would magically disappear if we implemented a school uniform? If we convince ourselves that placing limits on clothing choices would eliminate school bullying, we are kidding ourselves. I am now open to cross-examination.
If more public schools implemented uniforms, would it eliminate the social and economic differences?
No, because we would be pinpointing who can't afford nicer uniforms and more uniforms when their uniforms start to stress out, and then we are like pinpointing, making them feel bad about themselves because they don't look as good as the other students.
Did you know that at Walmart it's cheap to buy uniforms, such as for women's pants in a 2-pack it's $26 and 2-pack of shirts is $14.94. So it could easily go.
Did you know some parents and people don't even make $3 an hour and can't afford the $26 for 2 pairs of pants?
Do you have evidence that states that?
No, but my mom's a waitress and she makes roughly $3 an hour. And when I went to schools, we really couldn't afford uniforms.
So uniforms can also create unity within a school because uniforms create a feeling of oneness and belonging, and everyone can, and according to procon.org, quotes, everyone can be on the same team. As on athletic teams, uniforms are worn for immediate identification and to inspire the feeling of oneness. And you put on your team uniform and you suddenly belong. A sense of loyalty emerges from inside, as does an extra effort to perform at the student's best. Uniforms also prepare us for the real world. Many jobs, such as police officers, nurses, doctors, military officers, pilots, etc., have to wear uniforms So if we implement them now, then they wouldn't, then it will prepare some for the future. And for school, uniforms also improve punctuality, which is, I've been late to school multiple times because I can't decide what I'm going to wear. And according to Listland.com, quotes, believe it or not, getting dressed up is hassle-free if you know what you have to wear. This can help students get ready in the morning quickly and lessen the chances of missing school. One of the best things about uniforms is that you don't have to worry about the matching of what goes on with your trousers or a tee. End quotes. I'd also like to say that it lessens bullying because according to Listland.com, quotes, school uniforms tend to achieve this goal. It creates a sense of equality and prevents repeated bullying at school. Uniforms play a vital role in reducing peer pressure to wear certain clothing and raise the level of acceptability. Students in uniform feel united and connected. And lastly, they're overall cheaper. For example, Classrooms School Uniforms estimates average cost of about $156 for 4 girls' outfits and $140 for 4 boys' outfits. End quote. I'd also like to say that on average, according to Time.com, quotes, on average, a family with school-aged kids expect it will spend $630 this year, end quotes, which means that you would be spending more on clothes for school without a uniform. I'm done.
Okay, I'd like to start with some information about the prices of school uniforms. School uniforms in public schools undermine the promise of a free education by imposing an extra expense on families. A quote from a parent says, "My son's an unusual size, so it's hard to find him clothes anyway. Limiting what I can buy certain colors makes shopping for him more expensive." Parents already pay taxes, and they still need to buy regular clothes for their children to wear when they're out of school and for the dress-down days. Also, the push for school uniforms is driven by commercial interests rather than educational ones. Americans spend around $1 billion on school uniforms every year. A retailer from JCPenney Company says school uniforms are a huge important business for us. In 2013 alone, Uniform Company Lands and spent $3 million on marketing efforts directed at public schools and districts. Multiple studies used to promote the effectiveness of uniforms were partly funded by Land's End, and at least one of those studies is so wholly flawed as to render itself useless. According to David L. Brunsma, PhD, in 2013, Reuters reported that retailers were sensing their opportunities, stepping up the competition in uniform aisles and online. Walmart has set up uniform shops or temporary boutiques within some stores. Also, the affirmative stated that school uniform helps us prepare for the future, but school uniforms may delay the transition into adulthood. Adults make their own clothing choices and have the freedom to express themselves through their appearance. Adolescents see clothing choices as a means of identification and seeking an identity in one of the critical stages of adolescence, according to the late development psychologist Erik Erikson. School uniforms also restrict students' freedom of expression. The First Amendment of the U.S. Constitution guarantees that all individuals have the right to express themselves freely. Clothing is a popular means of expressing support of various social causes, and compulsory uniforms largely removed that option. In October 2014, students at Friendly High School were not allowed to wear pink shirts to support Breast Cancer Awareness Month. As a result, 75 students received in-school suspensions for breaking the school's uniform restrictions. That is all. Thank you.
Just a minute.
What? Oh, sorry.
This is 2.
Yeah, she's. Yeah, no, it's 2. It's 3 and then 2.
Sorry.
Okay. To go against what the negative said about how people wear, how adults wear whatever they want for jobs and stuff. I like to say that most jobs you have to follow a certain type of dress code, and that limits the expression that you can use, such as teachers can only wear jeans on Friday, they have to usually dress up, and they have to follow those rules. And there's multiple jobs where you have to wear uniforms, such as nurses and doctors have to wear scrubs, and it just gets us ready for the future. And I've went online multiple times, and there's websites that have cheaper options for low income households for uniforms. And